Welcome back to the desk, folks. We're switching gears and we're moving on to the Smite Console League, or at least the qualifiers that will eventually lead towards them. We're in week 2 of 5, and we've got an actually exciting match coming up for you in the semis.
Barrage taking on Atlas. Barrage, the victors of week 1, looking to earn themselves some more points and make a run to be the first team to qualify in. We'll see more from them in just a second. And Atlas, they're going to be facing off, actually defeating the second place team from last week, Cleanup Crew, in the round of 16. So Atlas looking pretty good as well.
Yeah, some talent out here in the world of the European SCL hopefuls. And we are going to be treated to it. As Kevin said, Barrage really took the they took the #1 last time around. And in case you're wondering why they're playing, it's not like relegations was, where once you win, then you've got a spot. It's all point based. So basically, there's 6 weeks of qualification, excuse me. And each time that, depending on where you place, you get a certain amount of points. At the end of those 6 weeks, everybody looks at how many points they're at, and we'll proceed from there. So definitely a situation where Barrage took the #1 last week. They want to repeat again so they can stay on top of the points.
We'll be getting into the game here in just a second, but let's take a quick look at the bracket first and see kind of where we've gone from. So Barrage defeated Vilify to get where they are, and Atlas beat it in Goobus We Trust. That's where they messed up. I can already tell you. That is exactly where they messed up, is when they trusted Goobus. I want to know if they ran it.
That's Bart's team. Bart's playing in Goobus We Trust. But as you see on the bottom side, Team BM versus Team Rival. So definitely that other side of the semifinals should also be interesting. But we're going to take a look at Barrage versus Team Atlas, and we'll see one of those squads in the finals after this one. These are best of ones, so what you see is what you get. Barrage on the left-hand side, Team Atlas on the right. And last week's #1 team go ahead and they get first pick.
See what they like to ban away, and it's going to be Khepri. No surprise there. Khepri either first picked or banned out from what we've seen, and all instances of Smite, whether you're on console or PC. Athena going to be taken away as well. And a surprising Naja, I'm assuming this is a target ban against an Atlas member. Really don't see this ever banned out. We saw it banned out against Jungler just earlier, but that's just because that's one of his best gods.
And Odin is definitely
Odin
a
OP,
one-size-fits-all
Odin
ban.
OP, man.
Yeah, Odin is so powerful these days because, and a lot of the reason, people sort of look towards, he can shut down healers or whatnot with his ring. A lot of the reason that Odin is so potent is because a lot of the top picks, Isis, Khepri, who got banned, a lot of these top picks can't get out of the cage. So if you're observing the meta, Odin usually counters your team.
One of the things we saw from Chiron as well, when Chiron Isis were kind of the top 2 picks, it was let's just pick Odin because they can't do anything.
Yep.
And for me, it appears that they were kind of aiming for this Geb. And Chiron as well, now that I say that. 2 gods that would have been destroyed by Odin got to be picked up. And Chiron, very good in the laning phase. Geb, for the most part, pretty weak. So allowing that Geb to get into that late game scenario where he can really shine with his cleanses and percentage-based ultimate. I like this decision from Atlas. That seems to be what they're focusing around.
We'll see as Kaajee is selected by the guys on Barrage. Kaajee, very, very powerful in Season 3. Just able to really ramp up very easily. And, of course, level 1 actives, or relics, as they're called now, definitely help out a little bit. Ymir going to be selected. Don't worry, that's not Raffer, despite the fact that he mains that. Barrage will select Ymir for what is likely the long lane, but don't forget, Ymir does work well in the jungle.
So a lot of pressure coming out from Barrage in the mid lane. They picked up this Isis because they do want to go the Kaajee. The Kaajee really struggling in the early game. Has to rely a lot on items, the Fatalis and Chins. Once she gets those online, she could start to be a lot more effective. But in the direct matchups between jungler to the jungler, she a lot of times is going to lose. So pairing her with that high pressure Isis is going to allow her to safely get into the mid and late game where she can truly shine. On the other side, excuse me, Atlas going to be picking up Hades to more than likely control that solo lane, although you could see it in mid against an Isis.
I think the other hand side works, Kevin.
The other hand side?
It's awkward.
The other hand's side, yeah, right? I mean, for those who can't see, I'm holding out both my hands and I'm... okay.
He does that every time he's also...
Picks advance. Al Kwong take away my Barrage. I'm not going into this right now, Thom. Don't make me bring up hot dogs.
Barrage. I'm walking away. Barrage, their last ban will be Giannis, so the Hades is assumed to go into the solo lane by Barrage. We'll see if that's the way it's actually going to go. 1 pick on the side of Atlas. They need a jungler. That much we do know. Whether they need a solo or a mid lane, still up in the air, and it will be Nuwa, so they likely will put hi-rez into the solo lane.
And yeah, more than likely, it's a pretty good matchup against Isis. It's one of the few gods that can match her clear. You can also silence out Wind Gust, which going to be pretty powerful early on, if that's what Atlas elect to use it for.
You know, I'm sitting here, and even with the Nuwa pick, it doesn't tell me that hi-rez is going anywhere in particular. Dust.
He's going mid, man.
I mean, I don't know. Dust used to play Nuwa in the solo lane a lot. Dust no longer playing for Juice tomorrow, and so Juice will have a different lineup. But Dust brought Nuwa into the Xbox scene in that solo lane. What he does is he sends the minion out and he sends the fog out, and he's able to sit 8 million miles away while still getting credit for the clear because the minion is attacking the wave. So Nuwa can go other ways. Neith selected, and Bastet will round out the lineup for Team Atlas.
Bastet actually very good against gods like Isis, Neith, and Bellona. Or Neith, very readable backflip. You can chase her, drop your cats. Ymir, I think I said Bellona. I meant Ymir. Ymir doesn't really have a way to deal with the cats unless he freezes them in walls, and it's kind of hard to do that. Isis as well going to be trapped in between the cats. No real movement speed ability outside of Wind Gust. And it looks like it's going to be a solo lane hi-rez, which honestly is a very good matchup against Bellona as well.
Also works out not for nothing against Kaajee. A well-timed dot placed onto Kaajee will make her situation a lot worse, because once that ultimate ends, the dots can still tick, and she might fall over.
And a pretty early warding from Barrage. Looks like they were trying to find a pick. You could see really deep into the jungle, and he'll just back off for now. And looks like no one's going to be fighting this early in the game.
So we'll introduce our teams. Team Atlas is the team taking on last week's winners. We've got Kaajee on that hi-rez. Viperz
RG
will
Kaajee
be in the jungle. Blazed Dragon in all caps is on
name.
Nuwa. Ruler, who you might recognize. He's sort of affiliated with Paradigm. He's done a couple of things with them. And then Atlas Joeeey is going to be on that Chiron.
Over on, it looks like Barrage's side, it's going to be Watson in the solo lane. Probably one of, if not the best player on console in the European scene. The jungler going to be Lycan, supporting on Ymir. Elexum, excuse me. Going to be the mid lane Isis and Jeron. Neith in that hunter role.
Yeah, a couple of familiar names here if you've followed either the console scene for a little while or sort of the challenger aspect of PC. You might be a little bit familiar with some of these guys. And as Kevin said, Watson really has made a name for himself on the European side of the Xbox world. Definitely coming out swinging, and we'll see how well he and his team can do if they can replicate that win from last week.
For now, though, the Kaajee and Isis will have control of this mid lane. To be expected, Bastet needs a little bit of ramp-up time. Nuwa, she's kind of just in the middle. Left-hand side, the Neith Ymir actually going to be losing in clear to the Chiron and Geb, but able to hold their own for the most part. The Neith does have that heal, so any poke traded should be, for the most part, in her favor.
Love the way Awe played that. Walks around the knockup coming out from Ruler. Similar to Ymir's freeze, it's a cone, so if you get close enough to it, you can actually walk around the knockup. Very cool stuff. And all looking for the freeze. Ruler does the same thing Ymir pulled on him, found that corner of the cone, and avoids the stun.
If there's a root from Jeron, this could be first blood, but Jeron just off the mark, and Ruler going to escape death thanks to that one. And it looks like a general reset in this duel lane, but Ruler does need to be careful if All can find a freeze.
Yeah, again, that Ymir, very dangerous early on. And he looks like
he's looking for it. No root available from Jeron, though, and without that, you probably don't want to look for it. It did come up, but you could see All not in position to combo with the freeze just yet.
Still so much aggression coming out from this Barrage duel lane, able to push everything up. And the two Neith Ymir combo, very content to do what they're doing. Bastet jumping in on the mid side, and perfectly telegraphed coming out from the guys on Barrage. Knew exactly where that cat was going to jump on back to, but not quite level 5. Doesn't have the invulnerability. Ultimate is Kaajee, so the chase won't continue.
You can see, though, that's exactly what you want to see. Left-hand side, Ruler could be in a little bit of trouble, but no freeze available, and he'll just roll on out of there. But the target for Kaajee is that Bastet, and that's just the exact matchup that Lycan wanted, knowing he's guaranteed to have the advantage in this 2v2, getting bonus penetration against his marked target, and Kaajee gonna have a really rough time here in the early game.
Clear going the way of Isis for sure. Nuwa's clear doesn't really come online until a little bit later.
Newell actually electing to go straight into the Imperial helmet from the looks of it. We saw it a lot over in the SPL match just before this. Imperial helmet giving not only physical protections, but magical power and penetration for only 1,700 gold. Very stat efficient, gold efficient item, and really helps out your power curve. But I'm a little bit surprised to not see her go into Boots or Doom Orb first.
Here's the result of that early game pressure that we spend so much time talking about. Barrage able to invade the enemy jungle. Choosing to play a little bit safe. They don't want to go all the way to those back Harpies.
I'm really surprised.
See if there's a blue buff.
I'm really surprised not seeing them steal away the back Harpies.
Same.
No way Bastet and Newell can contest that. They would have got the mid Harpies anyway, but they're going to elect to take the mid Harpies, which I guess for the most part going to be the safer thing to look for, and just continue to farm up, and this is good for Kaajee. Kaajee's just trying to make it to late game. At the same time, though, he does have a lot of early game gods in his team composition. Neith, Isis, Ymir really shine at the early pressure.
Kaajee and Isis, though, will combine for the left-hand Harpies as well. They just spawned, but the pressure that they've shown and just how scary they are has really scared Atlas off of those. So they'll pick up both sets of Harpies this time around and head right on back to the mid lane. Bastet's in the mid. All right, just shows his face.
Doesn't want to force anything. One thing to note here, too, is you can see Lycan, no red aura around him. Bastet does, which means Bastet actually electing to go into that power potion early, which means Bastet, who really has not only... who not only did not have a kill early, but also was not able to steal away any camps and gain any pressure just from having that bonus physical power, going to be very far behind.
Right, it's going to put him a little bit far behind, but the decision to go red pot I actually really like, and it's fun to see the differences between these two characters. Kevin, Bastet is a very early game god with 100% scaling on all of her abilities, whereas Kaajee is item dependent. You definitely need those items to make her work, just the attack speed and the passes from Jinsai and stuff. So you see Kaajee just go into Boots because she knows she wants to spend all the gold onto the items, whereas Bastet can function very well with that red pot. Nothing came of it this time around, unfortunately, but the different mentalities between the different characters is a lot of fun to think about.
The problem is, though, that she bought the red pot into a Barrage lineup that has a lot of pressure in both the duo and mid lane, and
right,
that they weren't even going to have the opportunity to gank unless Viperz wanted to try and gank the Bellona, but I mean that's a pretty tall task.
Oh, definitely. The thought process is that Boots 1 or whatever you're going to pick up as Bastet is not going to assist her as much as the red pot will in whatever she's doing. And sure, the biggest problem with the red potion is the fact that you're spending 450 gold on non-permanent stats, but those stats for the moment will actually help Bastet much more than any other choice. It's just a matter of the fact, you can't translate into that into something tangible, which is unfortunate.
Kaajee electing to go into what looks like the Chin side. You can see the Balance Blade, rank 1, going to be picked up and just going to be focused on farming for now. And only a 200 direct gold lead onto the Kaajee. However, you can see that extra gold not spent on the power pot is going to allow him to get that item online a little bit earlier than the Bastet's going to be able to match. Left-hand side,
Wow.
Jeron out-trading Joeeey, but not electing to charge his ultimate. Going to be very close on whether that could be the damage, but actually Joeeey, lazy backing, needs to be careful here, and Jeron's going to catch him out. I mean, if Jeron just hits one root, that's a guaranteed kill with the ultimate.
Without a doubt.
Just one kill.
Yeah,
just hit the root and ult. I guess he doesn't know where Bastet, though.
Yeah,
and it looks like Chiron's trying to bait for the Bastet, as you can see him rotate over.
There's the ultimate being charged. It hits Joeeey. It's not enough for the kill, but the root comes out. Ultimate comes out from Jeron. And, I mean, it all works out. Viperz gets the kill that he was looking for.
1 for 1, though. And it's going to be Jeron having the direct kill against Joeeey. And that's the bad thing for Joeeey is that that's his direct lane opponent who already has control of the lane. But Viperz does get on the board for now. Going to close that gap onto Lycan just a little bit. And a pretty slow-paced game.
The biggest problem with that situation, Kevin, is the fact that the Neith got the first blood. That's so much gold on the side, a 500 gold.
That was a solo kill as well,
yeah,
more
exactly.
importantly.
So the 500 gold, look at that lead. The lead is first blood gold. That's the lead between the two hunters, is that 500 gold. So I respect the play call, right? I'm gonna bait this out for my jungle to come over here, but it didn't actually work.
Did not work at all. And Watson here, just going to be swinging away on this Bellona.
You know?
Actually has a 600 gold lead directly on Kaajee, and this is just the power of Watson. No one in Europe, no soul lane in Europe has seemed to be even
Joeeey.
close to trying to contest him.
No follow-up coming up from Barrage.
And you can see Viperz and Blazed Dragon starting to rotate over, so Barrage more than likely expecting that, as Kaajee, I think, called the missing there. So can't really look to try and dive Joeeey for now, and Joeeey just going to get aggressive. I think he's trying to bait himself once again. You can see Viperz around the corner. We've seen this story before, but the problem is that Oz here now. There's the freeze, and he is able to get Joeeey, but Viperz jumps around the corner looking for the Ymir, and he's going to jump away.
Not quite able to find that. Oz in some trouble. Strong stun out of the Neith, but here comes Kaajee trying to find the kill. Viperz shows up, takes out the support. Spirit Ball well placed, but just a hair off the mark as Viperz able to find a way out.
I'm really surprised Lycan didn't jump after that. I'm not sure if he jumped trying to get closer to the dual lane in time. However, that was a guaranteed kill. He had his ultimate online. He had Purification in case anyone hit a stun or a root on him. But electing to take the safe path and actually look for the Gold Fury. You can see New Wall, Geb rotating over here. They're not going to let this go for free.
Absolutely not. Geb says
no.
They
reset it.
The Isis ultimates drop to sort of go for the kill, but miscommunication. Team does leash the Gold Fury, and Ruler finds himself surrounded by Barrage members.
That's a win for Ruler. He dies, but the Gold Fury is reset, allowing Viperz to come back from the base, meaning Barrage not going to be able to get that for free. So a good decision coming out from him.
So taking a look at the starts for these mid laners, you know, it's very interesting for me starting out with this Imperial helmet, because a lot of times we see the do more being built right away, and that has a lot of powerful stats. So this Imperial helmet, 10 magical power and 20 physical penetration. So this is a nice item for Nuwa to start off with, because she has to be aware of the damage that can come out from Kaajee.
Yeah, I mean, just the 20 physical protection, very good against a Kaajee who, with an Isis, there's a strong chance that you're going to have a lot of kill potential. And one stun from either of them sets up for the other. Gold Fury is going to be started for Atlas, though, in the meantime.
Exactly. A lot of people think of Kaajee as a late game god, rightfully so. Gold Fury in some trouble here. Aw, gonna find Ruler surrounded one more time.
Gold Fury still leashed.
They might be able to, they are. They pick up the support one more time, Barrage, and they get the Gold Fury as well. What a great sequence for the blue squad. Barrage, as 10 minutes pass on the clock, find themselves healthily 3,000 gold.
They weren't able to get it at the start, but Atlas trying to make a play and sneak it, get the Gold Fury low, but immediately they just back off, and Barrage like, I mean, okay, we'll take it for free, and Barrage finding a big lead, although the kill's pretty even. No soul laner could teleport in that engagement, but you can see Watson. I mean, an 800 direct gold lead against Kaajee. He is manhandling this Hades.
Really, really well done on that Hades, or against that Hades. Hades seems to win lane for free, but as you said, Bellona's doing very well. What is it about this solo lane play that's allowing Bellona to take advantage?
I think it's just the fact that Watson individually is a better player than almost any other solo laner.
Well, sure, but what makes him a better player?
He just knows matchup. He knows how to play. It's hard to describe without sitting there and watching the lane.
Right.
But he's winning lane even in losing matchups all the time. You have to expect that the other players are just simply messing up. They don't have the knowledge base to understand these direct matchups.
A big part of what's going on with the Bellona versus that Hades is that making sure that the silence is used nowhere near the bludgeon. Whether you're stepping away and avoiding, just juking the ability old school style.
I mean,
or
it's not just that though. Hades can clear wave at level 3, meaning Kaajee's probably not being aggressive and dashing in. There's so many small things that it's hard to really say without watching that soul lane the whole time. I mean, Kaajee could just be sitting there and scared, which is what we've seen a lot from these soul laners.
Yeah, a lot of, very early in the scene, there's a couple of players that have made themselves known. Everybody else relatively low in the totem pole, relatively speaking. Jeron kind of called out a little bit. Joeeey doesn't commit, doesn't want to hit the pincer. I love seeing players carry around these sentry wards early on, Kevin.
And Zadman, one of the first few players that we really saw start that up. Ruler uses his rollout. He's going to be caught out, but a jump in from Viperz. Trying to force Barrage back is successful. Ruler, though, half life. And actually, Neith charging her ultimate. It looks like Barrage wants to force something, but a got out by Kaajee, who actually teleported in. But it's Watson coming from the top. Ruler very low. There's Cats just trying to keep Barrage at bay, but here comes Watson.
No freeze going to hit from Awe. Ruler still in some trouble. Chiron finally making it around. Kaajee gets 3 in the ultimate. Lycan and Awe going to fall down. Looks like Lycan does ultimately find a way out, but Kaajee with the huge Pillar of Agony gets the double un. Well played by Atlas.
And honestly, you see hi-rez just so effective against this Isis. She can't do anything. The ultimate was down, which means there was no more healing coming off from him. And just a fantastic teleport in Kaajee. Even though Watson's found the lead in the lane, his ultimate so much more effective. You could see, you know, Watson kind of just getting knocked up multiple times from Ruler specifically, and not able to get those big bludgeons off.
Yeah, I mean, hi-rez in general is a god now. There's probably a lot of people that are going to disagree, and I'm curious. hi-rez, the impact he makes from a rotation can out-impact Bellona's, right? If you get a 4-man stun on that Roma Invicta, good for you. But most of the time, a multiple silence, a multiple Pillar of Agony, that's going to matter more than a huge bludgeon damage, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that it's just a different style, where Kaajee is looking to just team fight and combine with his team. It's kind of what we talked about with Guan Odin earlier, where, you know, there's soul laners that are looking to simply zone out squishies, and that's kind of Watson's job, is zone out squishies, get a kill maybe if he can chase them down. But he's just a damage source that is annoying the back line. Where Kaajee's like, I want to team fight, I'm going to trap all these players in, and the rest of my team is going to help secure.
And it's also, and the problem with hi-rez is that it's one shot. That Pillar of Agony comes out, and if Kaajee doesn't wind up with that double kill, well, what's he doing now, right? Bellona's still swinging her hammer around like nobody cares.
It's all timing with hi-rez.
Yep.
You need to wait for players to have their mobility down, or just have the direct matchup against an Isis and Ymir who have no way to escape it.
And that's really the key there when you're playing hi-rez. We saw a lot of key hi-rez plays last year come out of, most notably, I always think to Divios and Omega. They are well aware of who doesn't have their abilities up, who doesn't have their purification up, and they show up, you know, later on in the team fight and just, well, you got no more options, guys. Come hug me. Whereas Bellona shows up nice and early, gets a good stun, drops the 50 protection flag around, and just starts hitting people with her basics.
And a lot of times what you'll see from the Omega Divios, oh, actually, Awe can catch out Ruler here if he wants. There's going to be the wall, but a little bit late on the deploying. And actually, he's going to be the one turnaround. He's exploded by new minions, and now he's circled Awe in a really awkward spot, knocked up. The Cats are going to be slowing him, but a good stun from Lycan going to keep him alive for now on a reset from Barrage.
Well played by the team, able to support their support as Awe finds a way out. Watson, there it is, the continued damage that we were talking about from Bellona.
Here's Kaajee, though.
Walk down the Hunter. Kaajee making his late rotation. Will he be able to handle Lycan? There's 3 more members of Team Atlas in the wings. Doesn't look like Kaajee wants to make the commit on a single player. That's what we're talking about. Doesn't want to commit on that one guy. He wants to wait for the big team fight.
And Kaajee going kind of the same style as Divios and Omega that I was starting to lead into, electing to go the blink, which means he can blink in, look to silence multiple players, get the blight damage off, and then kind of dash after them and ult to them once their movement abilities are down. So Kaajee really trying to play that team fighting style, allowing and setting up for his team in a sense. And he also stacking Warlock Sash here, 61 stacks. Pretty good to have that item online early.
Turning our focus into the jungle, both players are relatively even, separated by just a couple of 100 gold, but 100% kill participation coming out from Bastet, and look at that player damage. Bastet's been really effective for Atlas because he's able to jump on in, spread the dot, and then jump right back. Very important sort of guerrilla playstyle coming out from now our top damager of the game.
Gold Fury still not started. We saw it started by Atlas. Well, first it was started by Barrage early in the game. Atlas reads it. It's reset off of a good play from Ruler. And then it's Atlas who started up the Gold Fury. Leash it as Barrage come in, but it was so low that Barrage were able to actually pick it up and secure it. And since then, Barrage have found a little bit of a heavier gold lead. While they've lost a couple players, they've been the ones stealing away the camps and really controlling the jungle.
Vision now on the side of Atlas, as the only sentry ward near the Gold Fury is red. But it looks like Barrage about to change that. But as we look at the solo lane, 2-on-1, Bellona in some trouble, down to about 40% HP. Viper
Gold Fury
Teleporting
started.
over to
That's
gold.
because Gold Fury was started up.
Yep.
They sent 2 over to the right-hand side, but Viper's going to be here anyway. And now you can see him jumping in on the back line. Big Cataclysm from Ruler, going to find 3. And now Chiron forcing his ultimate through the team fight. Kaajee is here.
Huge
He's going to
play.
pick up the Isis. And now Team Atlas, really well-executed play. Bait Barrage into thinking the Gold Fury was going to be free by sending Bastet over to take the tier 1. However, Viperz has a teleport of his own. He's able to get into the team fight. Same with Kaajee. And what looked like a 3 versus 2 on the gold, or excuse me, a 4 versus 3 on the Gold Fury turns into a 4 versus 5.
And that's exactly, that's just what I want to see. That's an intelligent play. That is a play by design. Show your face on the other side, because that's the Smite 101. That might be remedial Smite. When there's too many people near solo lane, attack the Gold Fury. Everybody knows that. Atlas knows everybody knows that. They play off of the popular mentality, and they say, surprise, we've got teleports. Very intelligently executed by Team Atlas, and it gives them the lead.
About a 600 gold lead. After that one, 800, although going to be fluxing depending on the waves right now. Experience essentially dead even. Only 1,000 separate the teams. You can see solo laners both 19. There's a lead in the mid. Actually, no, excuse me. Ymir is just a mid player apparently. There's a lead in the jungle, but it's all slight. Nothing
Right.
too big for now. And Bastet with 7,000 damage. For how much action's been going on, I'm a little bit surprised to see the damage numbers this low. It just seems to be like, we're going to hard engage. Okay, back off.
Yep.
We're going to hard engage. Okay, back off. We're in
And honestly, all of the damage has been meaningful. There hasn't been a lot of this damage dealt and, all right, we'll poke you and walk away. You can go heal it up. It's been, we're going to damage you and kill you, or you're going to kill me. This is what's going to happen. Full commit every time. Here's my hand. And you know, I like those play styles. And, you know, going back to that play that happened over by the Gold Tier, Kevin, you know, a lot of people, a lot of fans at home that watch the SPL and are watching, you know, these qualifiers have concerns about the level of play. You know, you see that all the time, but that's what makes me happy. Mechanics will always come, but where are the players' minds at? Where are the brain points of these players? And if they're able to pull off those intelligent strategies, that has promise for a very, very promising league.
You can see 20 minutes in though, 3 to 6 in kills despite how much action there's been. Gold Furies on both on both sides of the map, and only 1,000 gold separate the team right now.
It looked like Lycan wanted to take away that red buff from Elexum.
Maybe he wanted it, man.
I mean, he
Kali,
did.
let me live. I'm a little bit surprised here. Taking a look at the builds, Kaajee 3-0-1.
Mm-hmm.
Had the standard, right? He goes penetration boots into the Warlock Sash into the Breastplate of Valor, but actually going a double stacking Book of Thoth, which I don't like. I really don't like, especially against this Kali. Kali's just going to be able to rip him to shreds. The second he goes into Pillar of Agony, all Kali has to do is just turn her attention and shred him.
Yeah, the experiences that Kaajee has had so far is I trap people in my pillar and then they all die. And as the game goes later and later, the ability to turn on that Hades is going to be much different story. Atlas, on the other hand, getting very aggressive. Pressing is pretty much Viperz by himself, able to push Barrage underneath their tier 2, which leaves the tier 1 for free.
Watson getting zoned out here in the meantime, and you can see the focus is turned to Ruler, who's going to be able to heal up, and Nuwa minion's going to be exploded, and Watson
takes the 1v5 and succeeds.
Trying to chase him out. I mean, the rest of the team was around the corner. They didn't want to get baited into wasting everything onto Watson, who is very tanky.
Sure.
He's got the Hide of the Urchin, he's got a Hide of the Nemenian Lion, and a Bulwark of Hope. So, I mean, if Atlas are trying to spend all their players to kill this very tanky target, probably not going to go their way.
20 minutes on the clock and 20 levels on the Bellona. That's a huge Bellona.
Kaajee's there too.
Yeah.
He's not very tanky though. He's gone damage, boys.
Very much.
Although
so.
his damage has been very effective so far in the game. Big ultimates coming up from him. We'll have to see if he can keep the same without being as tanky here in a late game.
Mm-hmm. And definitely looking to stay aggressive. He picked up that blink as his second relic 8 levels ago. So definitely looking to keep his foot on the gas in that respect. Take a look across as we look at the mid laners. 4 assists on Nuwa, 2 assists on Isis. Neither mid laner has really found a kill just yet.
I'm a little bit surprised on this Nuwa build as well. I was talking about Kaajee, but Nuwa 0-4 goes into the Imperial Helm, which kind of makes sense. Don't want to get killed early. Then goes into the penetration boots, but then Soul Reaver. And Soul Reaver I think is very good on Nuwa, but this early, it's a very heavy investment
Yeah.
for a passive that you are going to proc very often. This item is best used late game when you're not poking players down, when it's kind of just like, I'm full committing right now, I'm going to pop my ultimate, and it's going to be very good. But in this scenario, when you're going to be like trading a lot of poke damage, you can't really guarantee or set up exactly who you want to kill.
And also, not for nothing, as players, as the game goes later and later, players have more and more health, which makes that item more and more effective.
And he's, I have to go back, right? He's the lowest gold in the game, and he spent so much gold. Like, he's just so far behind, it seems, with this. And honestly, the Isis has gone it too. It makes a little bit more sense considering her spear balls are trying to just connect and then the team blows them up, but I'm really surprised.
Yeah, definitely two characters. Well, Isis, definitely a character that you don't see a lot of Soul Reaver on. Nuwa gets a little cheeky. Now, just so you know, this is a little basic, but just putting it out there for maybe some of our newer viewers. Soul Reaver doesn't proc on all 5 people hit by fire shards. It's just the lowest. It's the lowest current HP, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't hit all 5 people, despite the
highest current
HP. So it only hits 1 player, just to get that one out of the way. But we do see it sometimes on Nuwa because she's so bursty. She's all about, all right, first I unleash my minions, then I unleash my damage, right? And you blow up and you hopefully die. So the Soul Reaver is going to assist on that. On Isis, Isis has a different mentality, and I find this a curious pickup on her.
For now, though, the team's going to be farming up as Gold Fury has spawned again 24 minutes into the game. Game essentially dead even. Only 1,000 separate the teams. 400 experience, incredibly negligible. Both soul laners level 20. And it's really been a farm fest. There's been a couple of instances where players have tried to pick each other off and try and bait the Gold Fury, but nothing too serious. No towers sieged so far by Barrage. They're just happy to get this into the late game where they have their Kaajee come online. But I'm a little bit worried because the Isis Chiron, a little bit debatable on who's going to be more effective in the late game, but I do believe that Chiron is going to be a lot more effective. But Atlas has started the Gold Fury for the 3rd time this match. Barrage not going to give it up for free.
Barrage
Kaajee's
are well aware.
Alone.
Here comes Bellona from the teleport. Gold Fury half, and I almost thought Barrage were going to keep it.
Honestly, Atlas can just force this fight. You can see the Kaajee and the Bastet over on the right-hand side, but Viperz has teleport. I'm really surprised Atlas isn't forcing this engagement and allowing the Bastet to TP over and make a 5v4 scenario.
Yeah, you know, they made the intelligent play last time. This time around, maybe they're just looking to get that tower over there. Meanwhile, Bellona diving on in, gets the bludgeon silenced out. Well played by Kaajee.
You can see Joeeey going to be counter-warding for now and just going back. And for now, Vision is in control by Atlas. You can see 3 sentry wards spread across the left-hand side of the map. 2 on the right-hand side, although the mid-harpy one just disappeared. And Viperz just keeping Kaajee busy more than anything. But this is really allowing Kaajee to get a lot of farm in the solo lane. This is smart because both solo laners right now level 20.
Yep.
You might as well let your junglers who are behind take this free experience. And now Gold Fury started up. Barrage, you can see Neith around the corner trying to get in. It's going to be close.
She's not there in time. Tried to get the cheeky play through the wall.
Oh, she backflipped. She's as good as dead. Viperz here around the corner. A jump in by Joeeey. There's going to be the sprint, so she's going to be immune to the slows. But please kill her. She should be dead here.
1 hit. That's going to give the masterful shot, but Viperz says no. I'll take that. Declaw is the ability used on Jeron. Triple stun from the long-range spirit ball.
There goes her Soul Reaver. 2,900 golds, 100 power.
Yes, there goes your Soul Reaver.
Now, it looks like Team Atlas, they're just going to take the Gold Fury, the pick, and back off. 4,000 gold in the lead. Good pickup from them and Barrage, who ended up winning last week fairly convincingly. I believe it was a 2-0 against Cleanup Crew. Getting challenged here by Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas definitely a team that is not willing to just lay down and go for it. As we said, a couple of names on there that you might recognize. Ruler was a coach of a couple of competitive teams in the Oceanic League, and also has dabbled in LATAM, if I'm not mistaken. So he's definitely seen his fair share of high-end competitive play, trying to translate that into the SCL, or at least qualifiers here.
And he was a very notable member last year as well. And right-hand side.
Even dabbles in Paladins, honestly. So
did you mention Oceania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like been a part of everything, so it's like hard to keep track.
Exactly. That's my point here. And for what it's worth, he hasn't. It's not like he tries to play in a scene and then fails and then continues on. He's always had like a moderate level of success, right? He's never on the bottom. He's generally doing what he can. So he's just a guy that loves high level competition. So I like to see his attention turn towards the SCL.
Atlas splitting the map for now. Fire Giant likely to be the next target from them. And Viperz kind of just
that's done.
running Barrage in circles. Even if you use the ult there, there's not really a lot of follow-up. You can see Kaajee around the corner. But Purification going to be used, and that's definitely a win for Barrage there.
Oh, yeah.
A Neith ultimate for Purification on Bastet any day of the week.
Neith Ultimate's so interesting, Kevin. When you're in the laning phase, Neith Ultimate creates a situation where you can set up ganks from all the way across. You become sort of like another support, or at least with just an item, right? As we translate into team fight time and everybody's more grouped up, that Neith Ultimate... Now, I don't want to say it becomes less effective, because at the end of the day, it's still good damage and a stun. But it's less...
100% less effective.
Sure. Yes, it's less effective. But so...
I mean, if you buy full penetration, then it can hit for, upwards of 800.
It still does damage. Yeah, it still does damage and it stuns. And the reason I was hesitant on saying less effective is because the game plan that you have using Neith ult earlier,
that's fair.
It shifts. So it becomes less of a gank tool and more of a escape tool, or more of a chase kill tool later on.
Fire Giant, it looks like being baited by Atlas based on their position. You can see them quickly reset when Watson and Elexum came around the corner. Kaajee's here as well. Look at this left-hand side, though. And it looks like Neith Kaajee just going to try and kill Viperz. And Viperz,
look at that.
That's a Kaajee.
Look at Kaajee.
And he had no purification.
Nah, I mean, Kali's got the read. She's ready to play her oboe. That attack speed is way too fast.
So honestly, Kaajee, that was her target from the start onto Viperz Bastet. So now it's going to be reset, and I'll be interested to see who that is. And it's actually been Barrage who started this up now. It's a 5v4 in their favor, and Watson on zone.
Ruler showing his face early on. Going to be zoned out by Kaajee.
Kali's going to shred.
Tank, not going to find it, so he'll slink back. Fire Giant, very low, 25%. Down comes the Isis ultimate. Ruler's here as well. Kaajee puts himself in the middle. Barrage take the Fire Giant. Not going Atlas. Kaajee does what he can, takes out the support. Elexum caught on the wall. Up in the air is Nuwa, enough to kill the mid laner. Now they're chasing down Kaajee. Watson picks one up. Lycan picks up another. There's that Neith ult. It's shifted, and it's still useful. Watson with the double kill.
Only one player left alive, and I don't see Nuwa getting out of this one, especially if the Neith can kind of close the gap. And Blaze Dragon trying to juke instead of directly run. There's going to be beats. He's not going to be slowed, but he has no way to interrupt this. Oh, but he does juke it. And aware Watson will find the last kill of the team fight. Deicide coming out. A delayed Deicide with Viper spawning again, but Fire Giant in the hands of Barrage. And now the game has swung back in their favor.
I like this play coming out from Barrage, or Kali's going to back, sure. But I like nobody's on the map. We can go ahead and split up. Bastet, she was split pushing. She's made herself known. Barrage not going to allow her to take a Phoenix. Both Ymir and Kaajee are here to stop that. So Viper is just going to go ahead and back.
Mid-tier 1, we could see Barrage look for that, but I would have liked to see Watson kind of rotate over to this lane earlier before that tier 2 on the right-hand side was finished, as Neith would have been able to finish it off. But looks like they're going to be able to at least try for it, although Bastet and Geb could try and defend. And there comes the teleport from Kaajee, and now Watson actually in an awkward spot under tower. He does have Fire Giant, though. Viperz is here as well, and Jeron's the one who needs to be careful against this Bastet.
Coming forward is Kaajee, looking for something. Freeze is good, but no follow-up, so just Ymir damage onto Viperz. And Viperz just going to turn around, laugh his way through, and try to take out Ymir. Not enough damage one more time. That seems to be the ongoing sort of motif of this game. Just not enough follow-up.
It's close. We're getting there. And you can see these mages, they're going a little bit deeper into their build. Obsidian Shard finished for both Isis and Nuwa. Nuwa's looking for, I believe, a Rod up to Hootie. Actually, both of them looking for the Rod up to Hootie. Kaajee actually going to lock in. Oh, who's going to fall to Blazed Dragon. But here comes Lycan looking for her target. Great ultimate coming out from Ruler. The Cataclysm going to keep Lycan at bay. He can't get his ultimate off in time as Kaajee finds the last hit onto him. And now the team fight, it's turning in favor of Atlas as we do see Chiron chase down. Their sprint popped. Kaajee trying to close the distance onto Elexum. Silence not going to be a time. There's the ultimate coming out from Circle of Protection. But Joeeey finishes Elexum, and now it's going to be Joeeey in trouble as Watson 1 versus 3. There's the cleave, and Watson does find the kill.
A lot of players on Atlas chasing down the solo lane Bellona. Long range route, not going to find a target. And Watson still alive.
There's the curse, but I mean, in the meantime, Viperz actually going to be able to split push the tier 2 effectively. Ruler going to try and chase Watson, but no one's going to be able to finish him off. Actually, Neith taking a very awkward spot trying to defend this tower, but behind him, actually, he takes out Viperz. Somehow, knockup does hit Jeron, but the rest of the team can't follow up, and now Watson going to be chasing down Ruler, who has no mana. Actually, I don't think he has enough mana to even roll out.
Nah, Ruler's going to be stuck here. It's just a matter of time. Watson, oh, no, there's the rollout. Can they get in front? Doesn't matter. They can get him dead. Kaajee forces the ultimate. He's going to trap two. A lot of damage coming out from that Hades, but a lot of damage going onto that Hades. Jeron, 2 kills, and that was a good fight, Bellona. You're 100% right. 12-12 as everything's all tied up here at 33 minutes. 1,000 gold separate these teams, and that doesn't mean
that
much.
Fire Giant, so effective on Watson. We saw him get low multiple times, but the continuous percentage heal on his life allowed him to keep coming back in and out of the fights. Take a ton of poke from Atlas, right? They focused him very heavily, even 1v3 in a lot of these scenarios, but still able to survive. Tier 2 in mid is down. And now, Barrage going to have control of the gold lead, although realistically not. It's 1,000, and most players are full build at this point. Still looking for that Rod of the Hootie from the mages. Actually, no, it is finished by New Wa.
Left side is now going to be the target from Barrage. A lot of damage onto the tower is Lycan. Not quite at that Titan's Bane, but almost there. Definitely has the golden hand, that's for sure, to go ahead and pick it up whenever Lycan decides to back. And here comes Viperz.
Oh, they're just, oh.
Knock,
the
knock.
Chiron ult just trying to distract the team enough, not allow them to back. Viperz going to be focusing this Phoenix. He gets it for free. Backdoor Bastet is real and as frustrating as it can be.
Knock, knock, Viperz on the back door.
He's gone.
Nope, he's gone. That's Bastet.
Ymir's not going to be able to kill him anyway. You can see Watson traveling across the mid lane, but
Ymir's able to do a lot of damage, but
actually,
again,
Viperz electing to jump there, a little bit awkward, and you can see Watson here going to try and stop him, bludgeon, no one to interrupt. Actually, it does get silenced out, and now Kaajee's going to ult onto 3. Ruler, there's the Cataclysm, and Lycan falls once again without getting his ultimate off.
that was a little bit rough. Aw.
The Spear Ball, oh, okay, still can't make it out. Double kill coming out from Kaajee, and these Pillar of Agonies have been phenomenal.
Absolutely on point. Well placed, but more importantly, well timed. That's what you were alluding to. I don't even think you made an illusion. I think you just mentioned it.
And he's actually been able to stay alive. I did mention that going into the Book of Thoth could be a little bit worrying, but
sure.
elects to go into the E-Staff and, in addition, the Bulwark of Hope. So this, the Ymir's, or excuse me, not the Ymir, the Hades is still pretty tanky.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually wind up liking this build. Once you pull the camera out and you look at the build as a whole,
Takes a while to get online.
yeah, it takes a long time to get online. But to be fair, these guys were level 20 at like minute 4. So, you know.
It was like minute 7.5. Watson caught out in the jungle. Viper's actually going to be able to take out Jeron in the meantime. And now Watson, there's the Cataclysm. He's knocked up, blown up. Blazer Dragon finds the last hit with his Fire Shards. And now it looks like Atlas, no Fire Giant around their waist, but they're going to be sieging this middle Phoenix.
Kaalee's target, very low. That's going to be the Hades. Great freeze coming out from Ymir.
Kaajee could do a lot here.
Yeah, this is Kaalee's name all over it, but doesn't want to get too aggressive.
There's the Fire Shards, but not enough damage to kill anyone. You could see Isis be able to make it back into base, although on very low health.
I'm looking at a Kaajee triple kill. I'm looking at it. Where is Kaajee? Kaajee's right here, gonna go right on top of Lycan with the kill, trying to find the target, finds one, looking towards the cat. Kaajee takes out another, that's a double kill. Can she find the rest? Right on top of the support, gets knocked up, gets taken out. Blaze Dragon with the fire, taking out Lycan.
Once again, Purification online. The mechanics are not there for Lycan in this matchup, and multiple times where he could have ended fights, and now Elexum gonna turn it around on a Ruler, but Blaze Dragon finds the combo, and Elexum gonna fall as well. The back and forth. Oh man, 36 minutes in, 2 Phoenixes, Titan at half life, but Barrage somehow holding out in this matchup.
You know, Blaze Dragon really has been quiet for the majority of this game. We haven't said his name too much, but he winds up with 6, 1, and 8. The damage is also very high on the Blaze Dragon as well. So, I mean, Nua doing it, and doing it well.
You can see Barrage just trying to push up their lanes for now, and what they have to do is really rely on this Kaajee, because Lycan, a lot of their strategy in picks and bans, you could see it was get this Kaajee, who's going to be this monster late game, and then surround her with a ton of early game characters who are going to be able to pressure out Atlas and allow her to get to that critical point. The problem is she's at her critical point, but the mechanics have not been there for Lycan, honestly. So many times dying with her ultimate available, so many times dying with her purification up in the middle of CC chains. It's just, the combo hasn't been there, and Lycan needs to step up if Barrage want to win this game.
Joeeey takes a spill.
Also,
So
Viperz
does
have
Jeron.
been really effective.
Yeah, Viperz really made it work. And what I like a lot about Viperz here for the jungler is that he has done multiple things. He's not just mindlessly split pushing. He's not just mindlessly being a part of the team fight. He's doing whatever needs to be done at that moment in time. And right now, what needs to be done is taking out that Ymir.
Mantle of Discord. Nice done, and you can see Watson TPing in, all with that Bulwark shield. Going to be able to back off, and Viperz just stunned under tower. No purification available for him, and Barrage somehow going to be able to turn this fight. Their sprint popped, and now Ruler just trying to get out. And no Fire Giant for them.
Atlas now with a very, very slight lead here in Smite. We generally call it a tie. As teams are separated by 1,000 or less, there's really not much of a difference. And honestly, we're nearing the point. Supports are still doing what they can, and ISIS has an item still left to be discovered. But gold is largely irrelevant at this point in the game. Everybody's already bought what they want, and you know, so we're basically just looking at who can fight who the best.
Ruler trying to finish off his Magi's Blessing. Last item coming out from Ymir, actually going to be what looks like a Pestilence for anti-healing or a Heart Ward Amulet. And honestly, he has his Traveler shoes. He'll be selling those for cooldown boots more than likely. Could be tank boots as well for a little bit of CCR.
Rollout stopped. Nothing huge there, but just fun to note.
Neith ult going to be charged.
Where's she looking?
They want to try and combo someone with the Neith ult, and that's what you see late game. Early game, it's kind of, okay, there's a gank happening, I'll send out my ult. Late game, a lot of it's, okay, we want to pick someone off. Let's find them left alone. We'll Neith ult them, and that's the start of the engage. The second the Neith ult comes out, bait out the purification, and then finish them off.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about how the Neith Ultimate's job sort of shifts. And there are still times where you want to find the pick with the Neith ult late game, as we were talking about.
Word.
But the reason you use it is different. Early, it's for the stun. Late, it's for the damage.
Look at this.
What's up?
Left-hand side, Viperz.
Bellona's
Walking
there.
up. There's no wards, and if Viperz can kind of wait for Bellona to head towards the Fire Giant, that's exactly what's happening. There are wards there, so they will
Can
be
she
able to
take
smell
out
it out. But she's going to be able to burst it in time, right? Watson finally recognizes it. Now he's going to rotate over, and it looks like Bastet's just going to back off. And Viperz, okay, so he counter warded there, knows it's there, knows they're going to see her, and it's going to be counter warded right back.
I was curious if Bastet was going to go all the way for the Titan. Fire Giant very low, already half and below. Kaajee now collects 2 in the Pillar of Agony. One of them's though. That's not a lot of damage. Looks like things want to turn around. Rally here. Damage coming out from Watson, taking him out like Kent Jennings. Jeron's going to be taking out Joeeey as well. And that's a Aegis for Dragon. That'll just delay the inevitable. One more hit, and Elexum picks up his direct opponent in the mid lane. Jumping away from the stun is Viperz. Well played. Lycan can't catch up, and the cats are out.
Lycan going to be ulting. Hopefully can
Ouch.
chase him down. No, has to turn on the cats, and Viper is able to kind of run Lycan in a circle, but 3 dead on the side. And look at this, though. Barrage actually electing to pull the Fire Giant. Kaajee looking for a kill on Elexum. There's the Sanctuary, going to keep him alive, and a nice freeze from Spirit Ball max range, but Viperz is here with his teleport, and now Kaajee trying to stay alive, dashes away, and the slow from Viperz should allow him to do that.
We'll see. Kaajee running around the rock. He's going to get caught out, and Pinsard, if all can make it all the way around, he can't. But the stun going to be dodged out. That's
There's
a curse.
the curse.
Viper's got nowhere to go.
And Bludgeon, if it hits Watson, double kill for him, 22 kills to 21. Barrage and Atlas dead even, but 0 players for Atlas in position to defend this Fire Giant.
That play, man, you know, you were talking about Watson being strong. He makes it look easy.
7-1 and 6. I mean, Watson, so important to this matchup.
Free Fire Giant, no way Atlas can be anywhere in the neighborhood to contest this one. A lot of damage being taken. And Watson's going to use the ultimate, curiously.
Hey, man, he's like, I got 0 CDR, so let me just burn my ult.
Really, Kevin?
Maybe he thought Geb was going to blink in and knock it up.
I mean, actually, that's fair. Maybe if he thought somebody was going to come from around the corner and all of a sudden surprise them, they'd be stunned. Maybe that's what he was going for. Either way, ultimate down for this next engagement. Neith ultimate being charged as Lycan and the Hunter start looking towards the Phoenix. Trying to find the combo. Can't and won't, but 4 members of Barrage are here to take on this Firebird.
No Geb shield, no purification coming out for Chiron, and now Watson trying to tank this up at half-life. Ruler gonna find a big cataclysm, and there's Kaajee's ult again. Lycan gonna pop his ult and try and get out. Watson 1 hit, and it's gonna be Kaajee to find the last one. Fire shards take to the sky, and it's gonna be Blaze the Dragon to finish off Lycan, all on full retreat, but the Chiron ult's coming through, and it's gonna be Joeeey taking him out, and now the back and forth continues. 3 dead on the side of Barrage.
Don't worry, Elexum will get this red buff soon. There it is.
Got purple pot as well. And now, Barrage got to be losing their last tower on the right-hand side. There's nothing left for Atlas to take in the way of objectives, unless they want to go for the Gold Fury, but that's kind of pointless when everyone's full build. So they're just going to start sieging up this Phoenix. And you can see Kaajee in the mid lane going to be pushing that up and well, and Viperz just saying, I'm going to split push. There's no reason for Viperz to not do this. This is free. It splits the defenses of Barrage. Isis can't fight this 1 versus 3, and honestly, Atlas needs to just dive at this point.
And the tower's so low. Elexum picks up Joeeey very quickly, and they're going to turn around, and Elexum picks up Dragon as well.
What?
2 kills for the mid laner.
What? Atlas just not understanding kind of their position at the time and how strong they were. Gonna drop 2. Do get the mid Phoenix thanks to Viperz, however. And Elexum, you can see the power of an Isis this late into the game. Actually has Bulwark as well, still able to put out that much burst. You can see Joeeey at the start of that engagement taking a spear ball to the face in addition to the 15% from Soul Reaver. And almost eliminated right there.
Yep.
Somehow Elexum, 1 versus 3, holds out without burning a single relic.
The damage coming up from this Isis is really, really high, despite the fact...
2 defensive items.
I was just going to say that. Not just 1, but 2 defensive items. No Doom Orb.
Helmet's kind of like a hybrid. Kaajee going to blink forward, looking to hold. It's been a back and forth. We'll see if once again it's going to be a back and forth. Kaajee in a little bit of trouble. And it will be Jeron to hit the last shot.
Big point. Kali was recently changed. She can take advantage of those assists. So when somebody else steals or takes the kill,
oh man, no. Look at this. You can see Viperz going to be trying to split push, but Elexum realized it, and she's going to go back. Right-hand side Phoenix on the top, and it's going to be actually Elexum blows up Viper in the meantime, and this is a very good position for Barrage. They're going to pop sprint and be on full retreat.
Everybody on the offensive. Oh, gets hit by that Soul Reaver proc as Lycan gets hit by enough to take him down. Looks like Ymir will be safe and sound, and the rest of Team Atlas will play a little bit safer.
Oh man, I think every Phoenix for Barrage has been killed at least once, or is the right-hand side one not? I think that
the right one has yet to fall, but the left and mid.
I'm really surprised that there's still a tier 2 tower on the left-hand side for Barrage. The fact that they haven't. Or excuse me, for Atlas, the fact that Barrage haven't elected to try and take that down just yet. I guess they were trying to take the free Phoenixes anytime they have control of the match, but at the very least, having that down so you can kind of walk in and take that last Phoenix when it is available, probably the smart thing to do. But right now, I mean, this new wall has been so effective against Lycan, right? All Atlas has done has been forced Lycan into using his ult early. They burst him down, he runs away, and then fire shards are used. And Lycan really not making the impact you expect coming out from a Kali. 46 minutes in this game, 6 slotted.
You know, it's interesting. The Kali was actually more effective earlier on. We saw more success out of Kali early, or more specifically in the mid game, than the late game. The mid game, we saw a lot of fun plays, whether it was off of the stun or some of the lash damage. Late game, she's getting 1 or 2 of these kills, but then finding a situation where she just gets pounced on, which is to be expected as a Kali, and it's your job to really manage that pouncing on you, right? Like that's the job of Kaajee. It's nobody's saying it's difficult to chin size somebody down as Kaajee. What's difficult is getting out of jail once you're in there, and that's what we're seeing problems with Lycan on.
Fire Giant going to be spawning low. We'll see if Kaajee can make an impact in this game. And you know, shoutouts to Allied, right? We've seen a lot of Thom Clancy action coming up from Viperz. We'll have to see if he can do the same thing, and that's something that's been important. Is that Viperz has been Thom Clancying so many Phoenixes all game that Barrage always have to have that on the mind. It makes these Fire Giant fights so much harder for them.
Bastet starring in Thom Clancy's Splitter Cell. I'll see you later, folks.
Splitter Cell.
Splitter, like split.
Let's
push.
just close. Hey,
see you later.
Hey, Ray, let's close this broadcast. Game is done. I hate everyone. I hate everyone.
One of the tighter games we've seen here in our open bracket.
I mean, 26-25 in kills.
Yeah.
I don't think these teams have been separated by more than 3 kills in the past 48 minutes, honestly. Fire Giant is started by Barrage. Viperz on the left-hand side, but Watson is ready for the split push. He sees he's there, and both have teleport. Fire Giant very low. There's the Ice Assault. Roller hits a 4-man Cataclysm. Kaajee in the middle, and it's going to be Barrage to secure the Fire Giant, but I think they're going to lose the fight.
Viperz picks up. They're all chasing Elexum. This could be the game if Atlas play it correctly and they don't watch a couple and they don't let themselves get too carried away. They need to find a kill or two and then just go directly towards the Titan. Nice juke coming out from Viperz to avoid the through-the-wall shot from Jeron.
Watson on the top side, though, just gonna...
Final Jeopardy!
1v1... I don't know, man. Kaajee was just left alone. And now he's gonna find actually Nuwa in the mid lane, and Blaze Dragon caught alone. Actually gets the stun, and now it could turn around. No, Watson finds it anyway. Jeron gonna live for now. And the game of throws continues. Honestly, it's the game of throws at this point. It's just players caught out alone in awkward spots. Cataclysm, but I mean, Watson very tanky. Jeron gonna be healing up a lot. And now Joeeey contributing his firstborn to the game of throws.
Ruler, safely.
I've been trying. Come on, man. Come on.
Can Watson take out the Titan by himself?
Well,
not
he's
by
gonna
himself.
Try.
Well, all right. So Barrage now aggressing on the Titan.
It's not gonna work, man.
You've got 3 players here. It's an Isis, it's a Neith, and it's a Bellona. Atlas taking the fight.
It's not gonna happen. They're gonna throw.
Barrage looking for the Titan. They're going on to him. Titan down to 75% HP.
Throw.
Watson low. 50% HP on the Titan. Barrage. They might do it, and they do. 49 minutes on the clock.
Oh, man.
Just a hair beneath 50.
Team fighting. Both of these teams looked phenomenal. Like, full credit to them. But as these qualifiers progress, I think we're going to have to start to see some better decision-making from them.
Sure.
I really do like the individual plays, though. Lycan, probably not as effective as he wanted to be. But these back and forths, there was a ton of throws in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot about the back and forths. And as we got into this game, Kevin, you brought up one of the standout players, Watson. And we were really looking at him. We've heard a lot about him by word of mouth. Now, can he actually execute? And it looks like he can. Getting into this, he is our player of the game.
Kind of just left untouched all game. And just really bullying Kaajee, even at the end of these team fights, and just so effective at being that backline disruptor. But it's not just that he was disrupting, it's that he was also not letting up, right? A lot of times, okay, we'll disrupt, and then he rotates back into the rest of the team. No, he was just chasing kills down nonstop. I don't know how many he finished with, but he was the man that kept Barrage in it, especially when he was the one who was really countering Viper's splitter cell.
There was a big play right there over the top coming with the double stun, converted one into a kill immediately, and then following up onto the Dragon. That was a little bit blazed. So well played coming out from Barrage. They won last week. They're going to continue on to the finals. We'll take a look at some of the other sides as well. SCL qualifiers continue here on hi-rez TV in just a few.